Hi there, today is December 18th, and I spent the morning doing something I don't do very often, and that is making a dance video. I dance all the time, all the time. I don't know if there's an hour that goes by that I'm not dancing. But I'm not really like a big fan of showing other people my dancing. But you know what? That's something that I am facing is why the fuck not show people how much fun it is to dance around the house? Like, I am here to help people get into their hearts. And one of the best things that we can do to get into our hearts is to fucking dance that shit out. Life is hard. It's difficult. There's shit that we have to do. But like, we're not going to let it get us down. Well, okay, it'll probably get us down, but we don't want it to keep us down. And I've just been really reflecting a lot on like what I have to share, what my message is. You know, I'm starting this new podcast called The Other Side of Fuckery. You know, somebody that I really respect and adore asked me to go on his podcast on Tuesday. So I was really just sitting and reflecting about like, what am I here to share? And one of the biggest things that is showing up for me is not trying to change life, really looking at why is this happening? Like, instead of focusing on trying to change what's going on around us, it's about really healing why things are happening. You know, I actually truly believe that if enough of us did this work and enough of us found these places in our hearts of peace, the whole fucking world would shift because we would see the world differently. I do not know anything that's going on in this world. I don't want to know. I don't want to know because what I see around me are a bunch of loving people going about their lives day to day. I see kindness. I see love. That is how I see my world. And if we continue to do this, would the world actually reflect that where we would, you know, not worry about war and you know, all of, you know, violence and crime? I truly believe that we can shift the whole planet. I saw something so cool today. I can't remember where it was. Somebody had this t-shirt and it said, it's just, I love it. It said, a lot can happen in 3 days. And there was a sign of a cross on it. And I thought, holy fuck, that is really beautiful because, you know, Jesus was put to death on the Friday and rose on Sunday. What a great story that, well, I mean, it's beyond a great story. It's just like, it's beyond a great story, right? But I've had that experience. I remember when I was sick, I thought I was dying. Like I was sure I was dying. Because I just, all of the life had been sucked out of my body. I was on so much medication. This was my second cancer journey, my breast cancer journey. I was on so much medication that I was convinced that nobody could survive taking that many different kinds of fucking pills. Like, I was allergic to this, so they gave me that. And then that affected my stomach, so they gave me this. And I was really fucking nauseous, so they gave me this. Like, it was like, holy fuck. How can somebody have this much in their system and survive? But it wasn't just that. It was like I said, my life force was just draining out of me. And I got so sick every day that I was getting to the point where I didn't have a fight left in me. I wasn't trying to fight to survive anymore. I was just I was just really using the experience to get into my heart. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but the chemo always put me into so much pain, like motherfucking excruciating pain. I remember the first cancer journey and the second cancer journey. I actually forgot all about that, but I do remember being in so much pain. And I remember this one particular time where it was just so painful. Every single breath hurt, hurt like a motherfucker. And so it was like I would have a little bit of relief when I would exhale, and then the pain would come right back. And I was just like taking it. It was like 3 days. It was started on the Friday that it got so bad that I was convinced I was dying. And I actually think I got up in the mornings and rode my elliptical. I think I did like 4 or 5 minutes. Like it was just enough to give me a little bit of relief. But anyway, I remember just laying in bed and just being convinced that I was dying. And then on the Sunday, it was Sunday at supper time. It was actually around 6 o'clock. All of a sudden, it was like I just felt better. Like I felt better. I got out of bed. I don't really remember what I did, but what I do remember is my daughter came home, and I don't know, she must have been my ex-husband's. She came home, and I remember, I think it was the next day, we went out into our little pool in the backyard. I had bought this tiny little pool just for us to have something that summer. I don't think we actually ever even got into it. But we both baptized one another. And it was just this really interesting experience. So, like, what I'm here to share is a lot can happen in 3 fucking days. That story and that experience really mirrored the life of Jesus. And I can't remember when it was. I actually wrote a book through this second cancer journey. It was called Here with God. And that cancer journey is where I started to develop this relationship with Jesus, because I had gone to church before my first cancer journey and left with a lot of frustration and anger and fear, and didn't ever want to fucking say the word God, never wanted to hear the word Jesus. It viscerally hurt my body to say those words. And through my cancer journey, I started watching The Chosen, which is an incredible series. And I started to form this relationship with Jesus, but not in a religious way, just in a, holy fuck, there's so much love and beauty in the story of Jesus and the life of Jesus. It's not about, I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, it was beautiful. So I get to now look back on everything that happened in my life with gratitude. All the cancer journeys that I've gone through, all the surgeries, all the fucking scars that I have, and the parts of my body that are gone. It's all beautiful. I'm really getting off of what I started to say, but what I started to say was to heal why things are happening. I am very convinced that I've got a good idea why I kept getting cancer, because I was not expressing myself. I never told people that they were assholes. I never told people to fuck off. I still wouldn't call a person an asshole to their face or tell them to fuck off, but I sure as fuck do it in my mind. I do it to my dear close friends that I trust. I speak it out to God, because sometimes the most spiritual thing you can say is fuck right off. You don't have to say it to another person. But when you say it in your heart and in your mind, you get rid of that energy that you're storing. And then you get to, like I've been saying, you face what is happening in your life. You face the truth. It makes you angry. Then you get sad and you cry that shit out. And then you get to this place where you see why it happened, and you get to heal those